hip hop wise, me and you always had a love for Redman. You know what I'm saying? We fell in love with Redman, and he influenced me a lot to write. Of course, KRS. You know, personally and music wise, my brother King Apocalypse, my brother L. You know what I'm saying? Definitely huge influence. You know what I'm saying? And personally, business wise, always Russell Simmons. I love the way he did his thing. He is the brand. All right, so is how the game is basically the game of life in retrospect. And when you start to look at your moves to be more strategic, then you start to understand what the game is. And hip hop, it isn't really about what you know. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be the illest motherfucker on the planet. But if you don't know the right motherfuckers, then it don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? You selling mixtapes hoping to get spotted, and that's the truth of the situation. So, the 6 degrees of separation point of view of it is to be strategic, and that would be playing the game. You know, so some people had to carry records for DJs. I used to carry records for DJs. You know what I'm saying? Some people go up out in the street and throw up someone else's poster in the middle of the street. You know what I'm saying? I've done that. You know what I mean?
I remember that with Def Jam, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's about who you know. Because you might be able to call up favors and blah, 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 you know. And I think a lot of people know that. The only thing is one of the worst things you could really do, though, is try to ride in too hard on someone else's coattails. Because you still have to build your own individuality as far as your appearance, you know what I'm saying, and someone else's perception. So, yeah, that's the life that I've experienced, you know what I'm saying, knowing people and getting around and being around, like, times that you might read about in the magazine. I remember being in Miami with my man Grizz, and we watched ODB punch Akinelli in the face. On stage, it was right there, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh shit. And then Busta was jumping off the stage and fucking riots started in the club and shit like that. And like through a connection, you know what I'm saying, of being strategic. Through a connection, I ended up going to this function in Miami and having fun and even met up with Pharrell down there and shit. And I didn't know he was there. He didn't know I was there. I'm walking down the street. He's hanging out a caravan and shit. Yo-ee! You know what I'm saying? Shit was dope, you know. If you know me in real life, then you know me in real life, and that's what's up. We always keep it 100, and everything is always respect. If you know me on social media, you're just glancing through a window that I allow you to look in. Social media is whatever I post. So, you know, I mean, if you know me one way, don't think you know me the other way. You know what I'm saying? Well, yo, honestly, the internet kind of killed some of the distribution market. So now it's like you don't have to pay for somebody's shit to download it. So now you have to find another route to make the money. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes people like Tekashi 6ix9ine famous now, because they're famous internet trolls. You know what I mean? So it's changed the game where it's different from when I used to do promotion. You know what I'm saying? You don't see anybody in the street hanging up posters anymore. You don't, see the person in the middle of the shed. Like, people don't fuck with the promoters like they used to. You know what I'm saying? It was a different, I don't know, things were just different when it was going hand in hand. Because you had to pay for a street team, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would either pay them free entry to a club and some drinks, you know what I'm saying? Or you pay them in cash and they'll roll through or whatever. But that part is dead because now you don't really have street teams, you know what I'm saying? But that whole promotion art, I don't think it's dead. I just think it's not being used the correct way, you know what I'm saying? Me right now, I'm watching the game. I'm not even playing the game. I'm playing my own game right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm raising my kids, doing what I gotta do. Still achieving my goals, you know what I'm saying? Still doing that, definitely. But those are my goals. I never wish for success and all of that. So I mean, I'm just watching that game right now. I'm playing my own game. In fact, right now I ain't playing no game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gambling shit. I'm doing what I gotta do. I mean, people sell images because some people learn through image. Some people soak it in through image.
So is
Some people push a sound. I mean, some people push a sound. Some people push an image. Right now, it seems to be image and just sound. But it's not like sound where it's lyrics, it's tempos, you know, and rhythms. You know what I'm saying? Things that have rhythm are hypnotic. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's what they're working with right now. You know, for our stage, we was different. You had to have the delivery. You had to have the style. You had to have the lyrics. It's like, you know, right. You know, you have animated MCs like Red and Busta, and then dudes like Nas and KRS, you know what I'm saying, who are like some super extreme spoken word God type hip hop, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, but now it just seems to be the same zone. You know what I'm saying? It just seems to be the same wave. Nobody's riding, everybody's coming, everybody's popping out looking like a bag of Skittles some kind of way right now. Hip hop is universal, bro.
Just saying, period.
Hip hop is universal, and that's what I don't get when people be, you know, talking about sometimes like, you know, some white people be culture vultures. I know there's a such thing as culture vultures, but there are actually people who enjoy hip hop. And the thing is about hip hop is universal. I don't want to hear it belongs to a certain group or demographic because then it goes against what it was originally created for, and then, therefore we're stifling our own power. It was the same thing that Russell Simmons saw back in the days when he said that hip hop can be used to change the world. And we saw that. We saw all of that influence. You know, but keeping it like segregated just stifles the whole universal project that it is supposed to be, that it was born to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. The dude in Russia now that Putin, a nigga Putin was putting a stop to his whole shit. Like he was sending the boys after him and shit. And homeboy was still showing up in clubs rocking. That's that PE fight the power shit. Big up Chuck D. Hell yeah.
No doubt.
Shit, I used to love going to the open mics. I used to rock at the open mics. I used to love the battles. I did my thing during that time. A lot of people did their thing during that time. So that's probably when I started breaking into the local situation over here. I knew niggas like Pharrell that was doing their thing in the studio over there in Teddy's. And like I had went to Teddy's studio a couple of times as a visitor with through a friend, my man Mike, you know what I'm saying? God rest his soul, Don D. He used to take me over there. Like, it'll be on some humbug. We'll still be on our bikes, you know what I'm saying, riding past PA. Let's stop by there. Oh, shit, okay. You know, it was like that. Like, Teddy had put certain amount of roots into this ground out here and started, you know, digging up some stuff. So, like, I used to end up, no matter what, I always ended up hanging around hip-hop heads. Even when I was in school and when I met my man Sarge, like we in class and Sarge is looking at me and he just looks at me mad militant. There's a reason why we call him Sarge, you know what I'm saying? So he looks at me and he's just like tapping his pencil and looking back and I'm like, fuck's wrong with this dude? You know what I'm saying? And I look and he's like, yo, you rhyme? I was like, yeah. And he's like, you want to battle after class? I was like, and I was like, all right, fuck you. Fucking battle me. Come over here. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, like we used to do this shit in L's garage, you know what I'm saying? Record on the Singleodian and shit. And fucking, like I used to go to Donzi's and the Cave, Rogues, the Abyss.
Did you ever break dance?
Yeah, I broke dance. That was way before I got to VA though, bro.
Oh,
when breakdancing was in my heart, I was walking through the fucking street and there's motherfuckers on cardboard with their boombox wearing the windbreakers spinning it around on the fucking ground on 116th, you know what I'm saying? And then you go and you tip them and you watch them and you wanted to be like him, you know what I'm saying? I had the name belt, the fucking windbreaker that folds inside out into a pouch. Used to take my shit out. Yo, one day, when I was a kid, we went to my neighbor's wedding, and I had a crush on my neighbor's granddaughter. You know what I'm saying? And so we was at the wedding. I got my little tuxedo on and whatever, and they were dancing in the corner, and they were dancing in front of Shorty, and Shorty was watching. So I wanted to dance, but I couldn't get on the floor with my jacket, with my blazer. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, man, I want to dance, but man, if I start spinning around and shit in this blazer, my mom's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? So I just watched and watched, and there was a point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I said, Mom, I ran over to Mom, can I dance? And she was like, you want to spin around? I was like, just let me, can I dance? And she's like, all right, go ahead. Give me your jacket. I took that shit off, and I threw it, and then I ran back over there and just slid and just started windmilling and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just always been in my heart, yo. You know what I'm saying? With the little name belt and everything. Yeah.
This was good.
Yeah. I had a joke in my Facebook little Princess Sane group because they were talking about starter jackets. And they were like, which starter jacket did you have? And I posted, I was like, yo, any one that from whoever I robbed, whatever that was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I was broke back then, yo. Shit was real, yo. I won't get in those gifts, you know what I'm saying, on the you know what I'm saying, Christmas with the outfits and shit. I always had to work for mine one way or another. So that's hip hop.
Hip hop. But check this out. That's hip hop having substance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's something to, that's having substance behind it.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna say, and basically that's what I was gonna ask as far as hip hop. How did it affect you in your coming up? Going to school, living your life.
Hip hop was the soundtrack of my life. Hip hop was the soundtrack of my whole entire life. From growing up in New York, living in Harlem, partially living in the Bronx, being in the Bronx when the Bronx was burning. You know what I'm saying? Burnt down buildings. Hell, your backyard is a junkyard. You know what I mean? Rats about this big trying to climb into your window and shit. I have songs that I remember from that time. So when I listen to these songs, sometimes they trigger that memory. And I'll sit there, yo, God forbid I'm driving in the car by myself. I'll sit there and think about that shit. And then I pull up in front of my house and I'll be like, yeah, I lived through that. This is my house. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? My shit ain't burning, you know what I mean? So, but, like, there's so many songs that trigger those times. Like, when, for instance, me and you, we've always had a beautiful relationship, you know what I mean? And you remember listening to fucking Onyx, and you had a part, and I had a part, and Mike had a part, and niggas is fighting over who's gonna be sticky fingers and shit, you know what I'm saying? Then the fucking Cypress Hill phase with the fucking fro and the fucking flannel jackets and blunts the size of a fucking baby's arm, yo. Passing out in a hotel room just, man, oh my God, yo, that shit was crazy, yo. Like, so songs from that era trigger that memory for me, and it's the soundtrack of your life. And that's where hip-hop, like, for instance, when you go watch a movie, and the movie has a soundtrack with Run DMC on it, then you feel in that era. Because it just...
Hear me out. Did it influence you for positive or negative?
It influenced...
Both, or et cetera. But that's my question.
It influenced me for the positive. Because anybody who won in hip-hop, even a moral victory, anybody who won in hip-hop gave it what they had, and that's their success. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop has always been symbolic of being at the bottom and reaching the top. Because even the dudes who rhyme about money and the bracelets and the watches and this and that, they're talking about how far they came up. You know what I mean? So, to me, also being smart in life, if you're in those situations that hip-hop, that you could really relate to hip-hop, where you broke and all that shit's going on, then the come up is nothing but, or shouldn't be nothing but, inevitable to you. So it has definitely influenced me. Like, that part of the culture has influenced me. Now, I want to have something of my own. Now I want to have, you know, a decent car. I don't need a super Benz or none of that extra shit. You know what I mean? But now I do want to reach success. And I mean, that was when Jigga came in. That should have been the point of view when he came in. It wasn't that, yo, Jay, yo, he's glorifying all this material shit. I mean, yeah, he could have been if you were looking at it that way. But if you were looking at it as you've achieved, then it's a different point of view. You know what I'm saying? Plus, hip-hop for me has been extremely freelance. So anything that I've gained financially from hip-hop has taught me to be a little more of an entrepreneur for myself. So there's that part.
You know,
Shout out King Apocalypse, Takeover, you know what I'm saying? Drugs, my man Fame, you know what I'm saying? Mike Mo, Soul Son, you know what I'm saying? That part of the squad. Big up to Crummy Beats all the time. Crummy Beats, the home team, which I ain't even mentioned.